we're going to go catch the thread around the buttons a couple of times. And of course, you know how it is when you're just about done sewing something, you're like, oh, that would have been great. I was remembering that at home I have a drawer with some plastic fruit in it. I could have put a little bunch of plastic fruit up here. But, you know, that's okay. Can't use up every single idea on every single one. There's my two little leaves. Whoa, it's just wonderfully forgiving. You can just move that around any way you want. Now we are going to have to put a couple of stitches in there. Hee hee, got little rabbit ears. We are going to have to put a couple of stitches in here so that we can make sure that our blue won't fall off. And our choices are, of course, we can just go through the middle and catch them, or we can add a little button. I think these little cream buttons might work for that. And again, you know, just start building up stash. And when you see a bag of little junky stuff at the thrift store, when you take apart a shirt, keep the buttons. Whenever you're making a project out of material you really like, order a little extra of that material. If it takes 10 to make something, go ahead and get 12 and put 2 away, and then you can make something that matches the first item. Or, it's about how much control do you need to exert to be comfortable. And I would rather work in a partnership with these things so that I got a little darker red here. That's better. Floss is always good. Just always have floss on hand. Thread's always good. Think about how many times you make a project, you need a particular color thread. It's just, you have 372 yards left over. I buy thread in the thrift store. They'll put a whole bunch of it in a bag for $1.91 for 15 spools of thread. Some of the thrift stores, they'll just be this catch-all. There'll be a Ziploc which has some buttons, some rick-rack, some trim, 2 spools of thread, a package of old rusty needles. They'll just throw it all into one bag. Okay, so I've got my little pincushion here. I'm going to sneak in between so that my knot will not show and come out in the middle. There's no rules on this. You can have your buttons in the middle, or you can put them anywhere else you want. But we need to figure out a way so that this blue stays down. So I'm going to grab over. Notice I only sewed through that button once, because what I'm going to do is go all the way around, and then the second time come all the way around again. Woohoo. There's the next one. Down into the white cushion. Back out the blue. See how cute that's going to look? Snug it up a little. So, you ever get stuck on something, you have a question, I am seeing Twitch as my new way to be helpful and to do a little teaching, help people figure things out without the issues of having to try to get a whole class of people together, drive somewhere to teach it. People don't have to figure it into their schedules like a regular class. And did you know these little white buttons that you cut off of every shirt you're throwing out, and you find big packages of them in your grandma's stuff, they can be dyed. You can put them in with just a regular acid dye like you would use for any kind of clothing. Put them in a little glass jar, make sure you use boiling hot water, dissolve the dye, and then drop the buttons in. And pinks and roses and coral and different shades of blue and periwinkle work the best. It's a little harder to dye them real dark colors. but they die just fine. Okay, I've gotten all the way around. Now I'm going back and putting the needle through and giving them their second thread. Something about this shade of blue and white always makes me think of sailor outfits. I don't know why. That should be navy blue. There we go. We're back around to start. So I'm going to go underneath, make a little place that I could sneak that needle out without the thread showing. I like my two little ears. Okay. I'm going to pick up this edge just a little on that blue sweater sleeve, and that's where I'm going to hide my knot. It doesn't have to be much of a knot. We're just going to do a little loop. Hide our end. Snip it clean where you can't see it. There you go. There's the second one. I like that. That's cute. Make another one. What else we got? All right. Wool Afghan. Look at this big old bugger. Been washed, dried, washed, dried. This thing has, I think I counted about 20 stains on it. So we got this little part up here that's got the fringe. This one's quite a bit thinner than our other materials. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it exceptionally wide. I'm actually going to see if it'll just rip. Yep. That way I know it's straight. And I don't want the fringe. For some reason, the fringe seemed like where there was a lot of stains on it too. So we're going to tear off the fringe. My first cut wasn't quite deep enough and tore, so I made another cut. Not rocket science. It's a nice long piece. So this one I'm going to fold in twice. And this will make a different kind of pincushion. Start folding it in as we go along. I suppose if you were really struggling, you could pin this, but it's good. I've got a little bit sticking out there, so we're going to make it a little trim. Take off a couple little V's here, about that much. Doesn't even have to be the same on both sides. Just two little V's I cut off of there. We'll put those in our scraps. And both sides are alike because it's woven. Here we go. I can hear the doors moving. They must be doing something with their car over there. If you can possibly get into an arrangement sometime where you can be in a building and share space with artists. I've done it a couple of times, actually one room, and then this building where we all have our own areas, our own units that lock, and our own bathrooms and everything. It's a little more private, but it's just a really, it's a neat thing. Because you can say to other people, they don't have to be doing exactly the same kind of art you're doing. But you can say to them, what do you think of this? Does this green go here? Or, I ran out of printer paper. Can you print a couple of, labels for me? Or, a couple of them are waiting to see how I do with the Twitch streaming. They're interested in doing it, so I would probably put them on here as a guest. Let them see if they like it. thread wants to come along and play. Well, the only reason for getting this kind of firm as you go along is because you sink those different pins and things in here. Yeah, you don't really want it to be real squishy. I like a pincushion that has enough oomph to it that when you pull up on a pin, your whole pincushion doesn't come with it. If you bump it a little bit, it's not going to fall off the table. You could easily weigh it down by sinking some walnut holes in it, like they do for weighted bag pincushions. Just rolling it along. Okay, I'm going to trim this end down just the way I did the other one. A couple triangles off the edges. That way as I come down to almost like a band basket, remember those? That leaves me just that one little bit. And I plan on covering this one up with a kind of a busy fabric. I'll use one of my novelty quilting pins. There. Push it from the bottom, give it a little bit of that cupcake appeal there. There's different colors running around there. I've always liked plaids. Alright, so I'm going to use this big button. We'll nicely cover up that whole little end there. And I've already got this red embroidery floss already loaded on my needle, and that's good enough. Make a little knot. Don't have to worry about the knot. And we'll get this finished up and show off our 3-pin cushion. And just remember, there's just a whole lot of things that you could be adding on here. I mean, you could put in a silk flower or a little pinch of artificial leaves or a seashell, a bead, anything like that. These things tend to be very individual. Sweet little Christmas gift. Customize it to the person you're giving it to. Put a bow on it. Pretty much make them out of just stuff that you're going to find. If you like to go to thrift stores, you could just imagine if you know somebody that does a lot of sewing clothes and they ever use any wool, just say, hey, I need a long strip, 4 inches wide. Okay. Just coming around my button here, a couple loops, pull it tight, then I'm going to sink that thread down in there. But any way you do it is good. You can leave threads hanging out, it's yours. There. Nice, plain and simple one, right? Plain and practical. So there's our very manly-ish looking one. Big black button. And very simple. Be good for, somebody that's doing their own darning or whatever. You can get a pretty little box. Put one of those in there, pack your needles, a little pair of embroidery snips. That's a good Christmas gift. Here's a nice little feminine one. We've got our 2 little leaves on there and our 2 red buttons. It's finished up. This is so soft. This is a 100% Angora sweater that was washed and felted and put around there. The end of the sleeve, just like cutting that off. See, now I'm looking at my own clothes going,